Hi guys, Airsoft Hicks here. Today I thought I'd do a quick video regarding fitting a tracer unit to the Nuprol Freedom Fighter. When I use this in CQB I like to run a tracer just because the sight I mostly play at is quite dark and it looks cool, and plus you can see where your BB is going. So I'm fitting the X-Cortec XT301 Compact. It's the one I run on my Tokyo Marui high capper. But I wanted to fit it to the gun. Now, I couldn't find anywhere online that gave any sort of detailed instructions as to how to fit this to a rifle like this with a loudener on the end. There's a couple of posts in various groups, but they don't actually show you how it's done. The primary issue with the Nuprol Freedom Fighter for fitting a tracer is to remove the loudener on the end of the rifle. So I'm going to show you how to take that off. So what you're going to need is a Allen key. I have a little work set here. This is a 3mm Allen key because you have to remove the lower rail in order to take the loudener off the end of the gun. Now ordinarily, let me just show you on the other camera, there is normally a metal ring retention spring clip around the very end. You'll have a small piece that slots into there, if you can see that, focused, and runs around the edge. Now, I can't see that it actually does anything, however, it will prevent you sliding the lower rail off the gun. It'll prevent you sliding the lower rail off past the loudener, so you do have to remove that. Now, fortunately, mine is already pinged off. I don't know where that's gone. I've lost that somewhere, so I won't have to remove that, but if you're doing it yourself and it is still on the end, it's like a chrome ring that runs all the way around, you'll have to take that off either with a screwdriver or a pair of needle nose pliers. So, get rid of that. First and foremost, you're just going to remove these bolts. I've got 4 on each side. Flip that over. These are actually quite loose. Do a tightening these up properly. Okay, so now the lower rail will slide forwards and then it'll spring loose and you can just lift that out. So that piece comes out. You can leave the top rail in place and just lift out the bottom rail. Now let me show you on the other screen. That little screw there on the back of the loudener, you can just about see it, is the retaining screw that holds the loudener on. It's a very, very, very small Allen bolt, or hex head, depending on where you're from. You have to remove that. Now, where this is located on mine may not be the same as yours. When I first got mine to take it apart, that screw was actually right up here, and I could just about get the Allen key in there. So if when you take your lower rail off, as I've just shown you, it isn't there, just rotate the rifle around. You should be able to see it either on this side or the other side once you've spun it round. So to get that out, you're going to require, I can't remember the size off the top of my head. Oh, there it is. So this is a 1.5mm Allen bolt, Allen head, sorry. Get that way you can actually see it. Just untighten it. It's a little tiny grub screw You'll see that as it's come out. So it just comes out proud. You don't need to take it all the way out, okay? You just have to loosen it enough because that bites onto the thread, as you'll see in a second. And then you just unthread the loudener. And there you have the loudener removed. So, now we have an issue. The inner barrel sticks out quite a way from the threading of the outer barrel. The problem with that is, fitting a tracer unit, it's going to go halfway through the tracer. But these tracers actually come with the extender to fit them to the larger diameter threaded barrel. And the plus is that that small extension over the end uses up some of that inner barrels. And now we can put your tracer over there and thread that one. Now these two threads are different directions, so doing this to show you, what I tend to find is that if I need to tighten these up, I either get like an elastic band around or just in between your fingers to hold that on there. I'm not going to do it now because I'm taking this back off again because it's going on my pistol, to hold one in place while you tighten the other. Now when that's gone in, some of that inner barrel is inside the tracer unit, but I can assure you with this and the extender on it, it does function fine. It does shoot, they do glow, you don't have any issues with it. Well, I certainly haven't. And once that's all fitted, the rail, exactly the same as taking it apart, slides back into place, and you put your bolts, your screws back in. So basically just the exact reverse of when we took it apart. So 4 on each side, and you're good to go. Hope that helps. If you've got any questions or you have any issues, by all means stick it in the comments. I'll happily try and answer it. I'm not an airsoft tech or anything like that, but with fitting something like this, it's not overly difficult, as long as you've just got the right tools. So you've got a very small Allen key. It doesn't need to be one of these, it can be just the angled set. This is a 1.5 for the grub screw or retaining screw on the tracer unit, sorry, on the loudener, and a 3mm Allen key for the 8 bolts on the side of the rail. One other thing, I did notice on a Facebook group recently that a member had done all of this. He'd taken the rail apart, taken the rail off to get the loudener off the rifle. However, whether it was done in the factory or whether I don't know if it was a new gun to him, this had been over tightened. He'd taken the grub screw out, and some of either the thread in here or the thread on the end of the outer barrel had come away, and it was jamming the unit in place. So if you have undone that and it still won't come off, you may have had the same issue as him. It'd just be a case of, unfortunately, you're going to have to work it past the damaged thread. Obviously, if you're putting these things back on, don't over tie them. You're not trying to hang off it, because if you strip that, I would imagine that is going to be an absolute nightmare to get that off. But yeah, if you enjoyed it, give us a like, click the subscribe button. I'll try and do some more of these if I can. It'll only be on the weapons that I use. But yeah, if you've got any questions, give us a shout. If not, hope you enjoyed it. See you next time.